Hello boys and girls, Greg here from the Scary Spirits podcast again, and I'm going to make you another drink. This week in celebration of St. Patrick's Day, our drink will be the Pot of Gold cocktail. Alright, I'm going to start with our shaker. To that, we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4 slices of cucumber. Next, we're going to add 8 mint leaves, 8, close enough, and then we're going to muddle those cucumber slices and mint leaves in our shaker. I never knew I could muddle before I started this podcast, people. Alright, I think that's pretty well muddled. Next, we're going to add vodka. 2 ounces. 1, 2. 2 sloppy ounces. Next, elderflower liqueur. I am using Saint Germain, 1/2 ounce, roughly. Yeah. Next, we're going to fill our cocktail shaker with ice. And then shake. Woo! Next, take our chilled cocktail glass, strain our vodka, elderflower, mint, and cucumber. By the way, boys and girls, I am not a fan of cucumber, so you know. And we top it off with ginger beer. Ginger beer. Finally, we're going to garnish with a mint spear. And a slice of cucumber. There you have it, boys and girls. The Pot of Gold cocktail. I am not looking forward to trying it. Let's see. not as cucumbery as I would have thought. Really taste the elderflower and the ginger beer. All right, there you go, boys and girls. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the podcast. See ya.
In most movie horror situations, if you are looking for someone to save you, you would be in a very sorry state if you looked to me for help. But this week's movie on the Scary Spirits podcast, number 47, Leprechaun, offers me the unique opportunity to become the hero. First, because I would give you excellent advice, and that is, don't steal the little guy's gold. And second, being cobblers, leprechauns are distracted by shoes. And shoes, my friend, are something that I have a lot of. So for future reference, if there is ever a leprechaun after your ass, I'm your girl. Cheers.
Welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast. Please be advised that the presenters may use adult language and or discuss adult situations. This podcast is not intended for younger listeners or those that may be easily offended. So, if you're ready, let's go.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Hi, I'm Karen.
And welcome to the Scary Spirits podcast, the podcast that combines the two very different but highly compatible worlds of scary films and alcoholic spirits.
What could possibly go wrong?
Indeed. Karen, I recited that without even reading. I didn't even have it up.
Are you telling the truth?
Yes, I'm trying to find it right now. Well, I don't need it now because I already read it.
Well, there you go. How many episodes did it take for you to be able to do that? Is this 46?
47.
47.
I did get it right, correct?
I think
Okay.
so.
All right. Well, I got the outline up now. So when in the middle of me talking, I realized, oh shit, I don't have it up. I guess I can remember it. I do well under pressure, Karen.
You did a great job.
Thank you. All right, Karen, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Greg?
I'm okay.
Well, I'll try to make you better than okay during this podcast. I'm going to lift you up, Greg. I'm going to make you all happy.
Good luck. Good luck with that. All right, Karen, I don't think we have. Let me check my notes. Creature on the Black Lagoon. Nope. Nothing to say about that. Do you?
Nope.
Okay. I believe this week was your choice, Karen. Was it not?
It was.
And what film have you chosen for us, Karen?
I chose Leprechaun from 1993.
Leprechaun from 1993, you say. Any reason you chose this film?
Well, this week is St. Patrick's Day.
It is. It is actually tomorrow when this episode airs, Karen.
So there you go.
Any other reason?
No.
From 1993, you say?
Yes.
Do you remember 1993, Karen?
I should.
I know, right?
You think? See, I was probably at Johns Hopkins in 1993, or was I still in graduate school?
Johns
I don't
Hopkins. The Blue Jays, I believe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Anything? 1993? You remember any special things that happened in your life that you can recall?
Do you know something that happened in my life?
No, I don't.
Remember?
I'm asking
Oh,
you. That's what
you're making it sound.
I'm wanting to know. I'm wanting to know more about you, Karen. I'm trying to get to know you better.
Let me see. Oh, I was still in grad school in 93. I think until 95.
Okay.
Go Bearcats.
At UC then?
Yeah.
Okay.
At the medical center.
Okay, cool. Well, my son was born in 1993, Karen.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. You remember any other events that might have happened in 1993? Like world events?
I don't know. Let me hear him. What do you got?
Well, there was a little siege in Waco, Texas
Oh,
in 1993. back in February 93. Lots of space shuttle missions up to fix the Hubble telescope and shit. Canada has its first female prime minister in 1993, Karen.
Nice.
Yes. The Brady Bill requiring background checks for gun buyers was signed into law.
I thought you were going to say something about the Brady Bunch. I was like, 93, that's a little late.
No. Monica Seles, Karen. You know who Monica Seles is?
Yeah, did she get stabbed?
That is when she was stabbed, yes, by a spectator in Hamburg.
That was crazy.
Yep. Beanie Babies were launched in 1993, Karen.
Lord. My nieces and my sister-in-law went crazy for those things.
Some popular musicians included Janet Jackson, Snoop Doggy Dogg, as he was known at the time, Garth Brooks, Rage Against the Machine, Radiohead, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Meatloaf, REM, and Alice in Chains, Karen.
Lots of pop music.
Microsoft released Windows NT 3.1.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yes, the precursor
Was that-
to NT 4.0.
Was that your favorite?
No, not really. And it says here that the World Wide Web was born at CERN. You know what CERN is, Karen? Dr. Karen?
Nope.
You don't know what
Is it?
CERN is? CERN?
Center of something research. And
Karen, I thought you would know this shit. You're killing me. European Organization for Nuclear Research.
what's the C stand
I
for?
don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know.
The Center of European.
I don't disagree. Oh, it derived from the name. I can't read it. Conseil Européen pour la recherche nucléaire.
Okay.
I don't know, CERN. I just know it from like, the Da Vinci Code or some shit. It wasn't even that or one of those Dan Brown things. They're the ones that have the, the particle accelerator and all that shit.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I
didn't know the World Wide Web was born there, Karen. I thought Al Gore invented it.
did he work there?
Don't know. I didn't. Maybe I should research that. He was Clinton's vice president, right?
Yeah.
Right, because Clinton became president in 93. Also, Karen, Dyson sells the first bagless vacuum cleaner.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
They used to have infomercials on late at night. I always wanted one of those. I'm a sucker for the infomercials, though. I once almost bought a fruit dehydrator. What the fuck? I don't even, but it looked, how I am 100% their audience. Back in the day, you couldn't watch cable. There was only the 3 channels, and that's what was on late at night were infomercials. 15 minutes in, whatever it was, I needed it.
The
No, it was the
Ronco.
shark
Ronco.
vacuum.
Oh.
Is what I wanted.
Well, that was later. That was after
But-
the Dyson.
But yeah, the fruit dehydrator. I had to physically stop myself. What are you doing? You do not want this. Ah.
All right, Karen, you want to take a guess at the average yearly income in the United States in 1993? One not long ago,
45.
really. You know what I mean?
45,000.
31,230.
I was going to say 30,000. Dang it. Go with your gut, Karen.
All right,
Go with your
Karen.
gut.
Average cost of a new home in 1993. Average. Not a mansion, not a little tiny ranch.
Not a shack, not a mansion. You're taking away all my excuses. 38,000.
Karen. $113,200.
Oh.
You were in a shack.
Yep. With a tin roof.
What do you think the cost of a gallon of gas was in 1993, Karen? I know you were filling your tank with gas in 1993.
$1.28.
It's not bad. Not bad. $1.16.
Mm,
9.
yeah.
All right. I think that's all I'm going to.
Torture me with.
Yeah, that's all. Well, unless you'd like to take a guess at the average cost of a brand new car, Karen.
18,000.
Little high, 12,750.
Oh.
So you were in the sportier class.
Yeah. Since the
You were
convertible.
in the SEL class, select.
Yeah, especially in graduate school.
All right, Karen, that's all I got for you for 1993.
Riveting. If anyone is still listening, we have a movie to talk about.
Yes, but that may not be the end of your quizzes. Just saying.
Uh-oh.
And Karen, I'm reminded that I should say right now that just to let people know, we do record these things weeks in advance, or we try to. So if there are any world events going on and we don't mention them, that is why. It's not that we're oblivious. Correct?
True.
And if you're coming here for, current events and whatever, you're probably in the wrong place anyway. Correct.
We do know that there are many world events happening, and we're each passionate differently about different events. But
yes, we are.
We put it all aside for entertainment purposes.
That's right. All right, Karen, you're ready to get into this film?
I'm not sure this qualifies as entertainment, though.
Well, it's definitely not social commentary on world events.
True.
Yeah, so if you're here for that, sorry. That ain't going to happen. Probably.
We're going to try for entertainment purposes. Unless
Karen pushes my buttons on something I am very passionate about.
It's usually the other way around. But whatever.
All right, Karen, might you have a brief synopsis of this film?
I do.
To discuss. Please read us a story.
Leprechaun from 1993. Dan O'Grady steals 100 gold coins from a leprechaun while on vacation in Ireland. The leprechaun follows him home, but Dan locks the murderous midget in a crate, held at bay by a 4-leaf clover. 10 years later, J.D. Redding and his daughter Tory rent O'Grady's property for the summer. When their new neighbors accidentally release the leprechaun, he goes on a murderous rampage to reclaim his gold.
Thank you, Karen, for that mostly accurate synopsis.
Yeah, it's a little off.
Might we have a cocktail, Karen, for this film?
We do. We've got the pot of gold cocktail.
And how do we make that, Karen?
It's from the Spruce Eats, and you're going to need 5 cucumber slices, 8 fresh mint leaves, 2 ounces of vodka, half an ounce of elderflower liqueur, 1 ounce of ginger beer, and a mint sprig for garnish. So first you gather your ingredients, and then in the bottom of the cocktail shaker, muddle 4 slices of cucumber and 8 mint leaves. We do like a good muddle.
Yeah, I do. I do like muddling.
Add the vodka and elderflower liqueur and fill with ice. Shake, shake, shake. Strain into a chilled cocktail glass and then top with the ginger beer. Garnish with the remaining cucumber slice and sprig of mint. Serve and
enjoy.
Yes. And there are some other things here that they say you could try using a flavored vodka if you'd like a different taste combination. And I did not wake up my mint by slapping it first.
I did not either. No, I read that.
Okay.
I meant to, but I was rushing.
It's a refreshing spring drink. I will say that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of cucumber, but it's not terribly cucumbery. So
no, and it's a nice light green color for St. Patrick's Day.
The elderflower liqueur really cuts through, and a ginger beer too. Should we give our listener time to make their own?
Absolutely.
Might give them a little extra time because they need to muddle that shit.
Yeah, they got to muddle.
All right, hold on. And we're back.
Yes, we are.
All right, Karen, are we ready to get into the film now?
Yeah, I guess I'll apologize later. Let's go.
Well, if you need to, I don't know. So, did you watch this film on Amazon Prime, Karen?
I did. Did you?
So did I. So the first thing I saw that came up was warning. Warning, Will Rogers. Smoking, alcohol use, foul language, and violence.
Rated R.
Was there smoking and alcohol use?
There was.
No, I didn't notice it.
I'll point them out. Let me make.
There was definitely foul language and violence, but
not a lot though. Not a lot of foul language. The violence wasn't crazy either.
It wasn't as graphic, but there was some violence there.
All right, Karen. The film opens and we see a leprechaun walking down the stairs into a cave. ? I wrote because I wasn't sure exactly what it was.
Yeah, it looked like an old castle, maybe.
Yeah. Then the leprechaun says, "Try as they will, try as they might. Who steals me gold won't live through the night."
He's wearing the whole
leprechaun says.
outfit, down to the shoes with the
Shiny
on 'em.
buckles.
So he's got the hat, the coat, the striped socks, everything. And he uses magic to close the door behind him when he goes down the stairs. So he's a magical leprechaun.
Then we have credits. And then while the credits are rolling, Karen, we see a limousine. You have any idea what kind of limousine that was, Karen?
An old one.
It was a 1985 stretch Lincoln Town Car.
Nice. Was that the standard back in the day?
Probably. And a guy gets out of it and he is drinking Jameson, Karen. Irish whiskey, I believe.
He finishes the bottle. Yeah.
All right. So there's our alcohol use right there.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're right. Right off the bat.
And who we learn is Dan O'Grady. Right. That's the guy. He's coming home in a limousine and his wife is on the porch waiting for him. And she wants to know where he got the limousine. She says they can't afford that shit. She doesn't say that.
She's appalled. She's appalled at his behavior.
She is. And we learn that apparently he had just returned from his mother's funeral in Ireland.
Right. So he wasn't on vacation.
No.
He was at his mom's funeral.
He asked if the package was delivered from the funeral home. And Mrs. O'Grady assumes it's his mother's ashes in an urn. Correct, Karen?
Yes, she does.
He pulls it out and he smashes it. And inside there is a bag of gold.
They're rich.
So how did he pay for the limousine and all this shit, Karen?
I don't know, because credit.
Okay. The people know he has gold, so he's...
Well, or he maxed out.
Because he doesn't use any of the gold, right?
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
So maybe he maxed out his credit cards knowing he could pay for it.
Which we learn later. He didn't. No one has spent any gold yet.
No, I realize.
And he tells his wife that he took a leprechaun's pot of gold. Next, they're in the house, right? I don't know where Dan is at this point, but Mrs. O'Grady is making him a cup of tea.
And there's a storm brewing.
There is. She does say there's a storm brewing. And as Mrs. O'Grady is making her tea, she hears a child reciting "Mary Had a Little Lamb."
With music.
Yeah, and she follows it, and it appears to be coming from one of Mr. O'Grady's suitcases.
I think he must have went outside to hide the gold.
That's possible.
Yeah, she walks over to the suitcase that's making the noise.
Yes, and she opens the suitcase, and a leprechaun jumps out and pushes her down the stairs.
And you hear her neck snap.
She gone.
Yeah.
5 minutes and 30 seconds until the first death, Karen. We're not even through the credits yet.
Right. Your kind of movie.
Well, those are some long credits, though. 5 minutes and fucking credits are still going, too. All right. Here's where I wrote credits still rolling. So the leprechaun confronts Dan O'Grady, Mr. O'Grady, and asks him where he hid the gold. And Dan comes at the leprechaun with a 4-leaf clover. Who knew, Karen?
I didn't. He holds it up like a vampire hunter would hold a crucifix up to a vampire.
That's exactly what I wrote. The leprechaun acts like a vampire being shown a cross.
Yep. The 4-leaf clover is definitely a weakness in this movie. I've never heard that. Have you?
Nope.
In all your leprechaun studies?
No, I haven't. No. But Dan shoots at the leprechaun and it runs away. Next, we end up downstairs. And the leprechaun is using Mrs. O'Grady as a ventriloquist puppet. I wrote.
Yeah, this is the first time we see him being able to mimic a voice.
Yes, he can mimic voices. The leprechaun can. Dan shoots the leprechaun and locks it in a crate. And he puts the 4-leaf clover on top of the crate to keep the leprechaun from escaping.
Yeah, the empty crate is just conveniently there in the basement.
Yes.
Do you have empty crates in your basement?
Nope.
Maybe you might want to have one.
You never know. So as Dan is hammering the crate shut and like going back upstairs, the leprechaun mocks him the whole time from inside the crate.
He's taunting him. You're not as young as you used to be.
You might have a heart attack and die. But
Which I thought he did. Anyway, sorry. Spoiler alert.
Dan puts gasoline on the crate, goes upstairs and strikes a match. Apparently he's going to throw it down the stairs and onto the crate.
He did pull out the missus too. He brought her upstairs.
He did. He brought her up. She gone, but
yeah, but he's not going to burn her with the leprechaun.
Right. And I wrote, just then he has a heart attack and dies. That's what I wrote.
That's what I thought too.
As the match blows out.
Yeah. So the leprechaun laughs at him.
Yes.
And the leprechaun is still stuck in the crate because the 4-leaf clover is on top of it. And he's nailed in there. And to be clear, he was shot a couple of times, but it didn't kill him, the leprechaun.
No. Next, Karen, on the screen it says 10 years later. And we see what appears to me, Karen, to be a 1955 Jeep CJ5 driving through some mountains.
1955?
A 1955
wow.
Jeep CJ5.
It's in pretty good shape.
It is. Any idea what one of those goes for today? Average, Karen?
Today.
Yeah, we covered the 1966 CJ5 in Friday the 13th, but we haven't covered the 1955. So you know. So the average price today.
48,000.
Average price today.
18,200. There you go. Wow. That was a good guess on my part.
Any idea what the original MSRP of that vehicle was in 1955, Karen? It's probably a low number.
1895.
So
1,895. Yeah.
That's not bad. Maybe if you had all the bells and whistles.
Well, I would.
Yeah, as you would. You had the. Oh, shit. Did they have cassette players in 1955? I don't think so.
No.
But they. Oh, so you got the AM, FM, stereo.
Of course.
So average retail was $1,476.
Yeah.
They're just a little high.
Tires.
All right. I'm not going to ask you the high. And we see the father and a daughter, who we learn is the father and his daughter in the Jeep. And they are vacationing for the summer in North Dakota. And their names are JD and Tory Redding. And Tory Redding is played by Jennifer Aniston. This is her first major film, Karen.
Pre-nose job.
I don't know what you're talking about. She looked the same to me. But they get out and they're walking to the house, Karen. And I kind of got the feeling that he bought it.
I agree. It sounded like he bought it.
And they were just going to go there on, holidays and shit. The impression I got. But I made a note that Tory is not wearing proper shoes for the terrain she is walking, Karen.
Yeah, they're trying really hard to make her out to be a very spoiled young lady.
Yeah, she's not.
She wants to be in LA. She doesn't like this place. She's going to go to a hotel. She's just, they're pushing hard that she's just very spoiled.
Any comments on her blue heeled shoes, Karen?
Were they blue or purple? I thought
they were blue.
I don't blue.
I think they were deep blue. No, nothing about that 90s footwear. No, not for you. Okay. But we learned they are staying at the O'Grady house. There's cobwebs everywhere. It's basically the same as the last scene 10 years previous. It's just there's cobwebs everywhere.
Everywhere. Over everything. Yeah.
And you said that Tory wants to sleep in a hotel, so she pulls out her 1990s flip phone, Karen. And she begins to call a hotel. But then she runs into who we learn is Nathan.
Literally runs into him.
Yes, and knocks over his bucket of paint thinner.
I just said she bumps into the hunky dude.
And she tries to pay him. But he just wants an apology, Karen. He doesn't want her money. He just wants an apology. Next, JD, her dad, comes out with his bag and he's like, you know what, Tory, you're right. Let's get the hell out of here. This place sucks, right?
It's going to be a lot of work. It's a mess.
It is. But then Tory decides that she would rather stay now, Karen.
Well, she and Nathan, of course, argue back and forth. And then he says, what, are you scared? And she says, no. And then she decides she's going to stay just to prove something to Nathan. Plus, she kind of likes him.
Well, I wrote, I think she and Nathan have made a love connection. That's what
already. Yes.
So next, the other painters arrive. They're going to be painting. Nathan's a painter. He's there to paint the house and shit.
Which is weird. If they were renting it, they wouldn't be painting it.
Right, they wouldn't.
So that's why I think they did buy it.
Yeah, so the other painters are a guy named Ozzy and Nathan's little brother, Alex. Yeah, so we have Tory with a Y and Ozzy with an IE.
Yes. Alex is a little business dude and Ozzy's a little dim.
So next, Tory goes downstairs to the basement with drinks for she and Nathan.
Looks like iced tea.
But a tarp falls on her, like a painter's tarp or some shit. And she drops the glasses, and she and Nathan find the crate with the leprechaun.
I think she drops the glasses on that crate.
Okay.
And spills it into the crate. And the leprechaun, they show him asleep. And then once she dumps everything in the crate, he's awake.
And they're about to open the crate when they hear Ozzy scream from outside. They run up there to see what happened. And apparently he fell off the ladder and he's got blue paint all over him.
Everybody laughs. Ha, 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 ha.
So Ozzy goes into the house to clean up and he hears a child reciting Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Maybe before we go any further, we should say that Ozzy, when we first meet him, is talking to Alex, who is Nathan's little brother, about aliens, UFOs, things that other people don't believe in. So,
right. So Alex, what would you say Alex is? 11 years old? 12?
Something like that.
Something like that. And how old would you say Ozzy was?
Early to mid 20s.
Yeah, he's in his 20s, but he appears to have the mind of 11 or 12-year-old. That's why him and Alex are buddies.
And not as smart as Alex. But he's talking about aliens, UFOs, maybe even abductions. I don't know. And Alex says, you got to stop talking about stuff like that. So when Ozzy's in the house, you kind of know that whatever he finds, if it's of a supernatural nature, nobody's going to believe him. We've already set that up. So,
yep. So Ozzy goes downstairs to find out where the Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star is coming from. And the leprechaun asks Ozzy to let him out of the crate. And I think Ozzy says, how'd you get in there? And in the process, Ozzy knocks the 4-leaf clover off the top of the crate. And he puts he puts his ear down to the crate and the leprechaun busts through. He's out.
Yes, because the 4-leaf clover is off the crate, he's able to bust out.
And the leprechaun asks Ozzy about his pot of gold. Ozzy says he doesn't know anything about it, and he runs out.
And the leprechaun also, he puts on his hat and he eats a cricket.
He does.
And he tells Ozzy he's a shoemaker by trade.
Yes, he is. And as Ozzy is running towards the door, the leprechaun shoots a green ray out of his hand and closes the door.
Ooh, magic.
But Ozzy opens the door and escapes, and the leprechaun says his powers are weakened from being in that crate for 10 years. So Ozzy runs outside, tells Nathan and Alex about the leprechaun. And I guess Tory too, right? She's out there.
Yeah. I mean, he comes out screaming, there's a leprechaun in the basement.
But of course, none of them believe him. But they do go down in the basement to check it out. And while they're down there, they hear noises coming from the corner of the basement, but turns out to be just a rat, Karen.
Yep.
So they all go back outside, and lo and behold, a rainbow appears.
On the beautiful sunny day, it's just a rainbow.
In North Dakota. Is that where the hell they are? Yep, yeah. North Dakota. And Ozzy decides to go look for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and Alex chases after him. So, Karen, the rainbow ends at an old pickup truck. Correct?
Yep. Alex
Yeah.
wants to hotwire it.
Yeah. Any idea what kind of truck that
Nuts.
is? It's a nice truck. I would hotwire it too.
It's a 1958 Chevy.
Oh,
No, 1950 Ford.
we're closer the first time I won, and you're closer the second time.
1957 Ford
Yes.
pickup.
Go on. All right, Karen. I'm
Eldorado.
It's a 1956
Oh.
Ford F-150.
Oh, F-150. Oh.
Yeah, in terrible condition.
Yes, it's all rusted out.
It's a rust bucket. Do you know what one of those goes for today, Karen, on average? Average.
I'm guessing people would want that.
Yeah, they would. I would think so too.
38,000.
26,400. But there is one for sale right now in Charlotte, North Carolina, like a fully tricked out one. Something you would show at Cavalcade Customs. You know what I mean? It's a show car.
With the girl next to it.
Yes. What do you think they want for that vehicle right now? A 1956
Totally
out Ford
tricked out at
F100.
Cavalcade. I don't know. What?
$169,900.
Wow. What color is it? Is it
Black.
red? Oh.
Know what that vehicle went for? Brand new, Karen. Original
What?
MSRP in 1956.
Didn't I already say?
Nope.
2,200.
$1,611, Karen. Pretty close. So Ozzy finds a gold coin in the truck, in the cab of the truck. And then Alex finds a bag of gold behind the seat. Ozzy goes to bite the coin to check to see if it's real, because he's seen that in movies, he said, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up swallowing it.
Which is ridiculous, but what it's like a 50-cent piece.
It is.
Size. It's not a dime.
Right, it's not. So Alex decides he's going to keep one of the coins and take it into town to see if it's real. And they're going to hide the rest of them in the well next to the house.
Smart.
And, as they're walking back to the house, Alex tells Ozzy, we could get an operation for you to make you smart. Right? And he knows he can't. We learn later. He's just trying to,
What? Give him false hope?
Yeah.
Plus, Ozzy thinks he's smart anyway.
That's true. So next we see Nathan teaching Tory how to paint the shutters. Yeah. And Tory's doing a wonderful job. She's quite
very
the painter.
Impressed. Yeah.
Yes. But they run out of paint. So Tory goes to get paint out of their pickup truck. Nathan's pickup truck, Karen. Any idea what kind of pickup truck that is that Nathan drives?
No, what is it?
Once again, it's another Ford F-100. Same make and model. Want to take
F-100
a guess at the year?
or 150?
No, it's a 100.
The one.
They're both F-100s, both of the trucks.
1972.
Wow! Exactly.
Yes. And he did not give me any hints.
Did not know what the original MSRP of that one was. So in 56, it was $1,611. What do you think it was in 1972?
2,400.
Pretty good. $2,675, about $1,000 more. Average retail today, Karen. Remember, the 56 was 26,000.
Well, all I can think of was the 160,000.
What do you think the average retail of a 72 is?
No, I don't think people would want that as much.
Not as much, but I mean, it's still a nice truck.
$20,000.
25,000. All right.
I hate this game.
So Lori goes to get the paint out of the truck, and we see the leprechaun underneath it, and he strokes her legs, Karen. She's wearing shorts.
Shorty shorts.
Not so shorty short, no. They're 1990 shorts. And she thinks it is Nathan. But then she sees Nathan behind her, and she screams, and the leprechaun scratches her leg, bringing blood. So they end up thinking it was a cat or something, right?
Yeah, the leprechaun's over in the bushes meowing like a cat.
He's meowing. So they go up to a hollow tree, and dad, JD, sticks his hand in the tree looking for the cat because it sounds hurt, he says. And the leprechaun bites him right on the hand.
Yep. And then licks his lips.
They drive away to take JD to the hospital. And that's pretty much the last we see of JD.
Yes, true. But they all load in the truck and it won't start.
No,
and
that's true.
Alex has to jiggle some wires.
Yeah, he has to go in there, the distributor cap.
But he just like touches a wire and then jumps back in and it starts.
That is important later.
Yeah, they're taking him to the JD to the ER.
Yes. And the leprechaun finds a tricycle and follows them.
It's ridiculous.
So they take JD to the emergency room.
He's going the reason it's ridiculous is because the leprechaun's going like warp speed on this tricycle.
Well, he's a magical leprechaun.
He is, but he's not just, riding along on this tricycle. He's going, why did they have a tricycle there anyway? They were two old people.
I don't know.
But
what? A barn full of, stuff. Who knows? He may have been a collector. May have had grandkids, Karen. You don't know. So they take JD to the emergency room. And while they're all in the emergency room, Ozzy and Alex take the coin to a shop to get it looked at. And we see the leprechaun again on his tricycle in the alley next to the shop. But the shop owner tells Ozzy and Alex that the coin could be worth $500 if it is solid gold.
Yeah, he's never seen anything like it, he says.
It may be much more, though, he says, in historical value. It could be priceless, Karen.
And then he says, let me just keep it overnight.
Yep.
After he tells them it could be priceless. They're like,
okay. He does give them a receipt.
He does. They're okay. Here you go. Take the coin.
Did you look up the price of gold in 1993 or anything like that, Karen?
No.
I meant to. I forgot. Just wonder if that was real. $500 for a gold coin. I mean, really? You think? I don't know. But anyway.
It's a pretty big coin.
Like you said, it's the size of a silver dollar or 50-cent piece, right? So anyway, we hear a bicycle bell. And the shop owner is opening his safe to put the coin in. And a tricycle runs into him. He eventually opens the safe and the leprechaun leaps out. How did he get in there, Karen?
Magic.
Did
you see the creepy saint statue in the background?
I did.
I kept thinking that was going to. I did. I kept thinking that was going to come alive, but it didn't.
The leprechaun bites the shop owner and takes the gold coin.
Yeah, he bites him in the leg.
Next, he finds a pogo stick in the corner, Karen.
Yep.
And he kills the shop owner by jumping on him with the pogo stick.
Why did he kill him? He gave him the coin.
Don't know. And the leprechaun says, 1 gold coin down, 99 to go. So he
does clean off his bloody shoes too. Yes. The shop owner's shoes.
Yes, he does.
So the leprechaun is distracted by shoes.
Yeah.
And having to clean. He has to clean them and make them look nice.
He does. And here's where we learn there's 100 gold coins.
Yes.
Out there somewhere. Next, we see Tory and Nathan at the diner.
And they're waiting on Alex and Ozzy. So it took them a long time at the shop they were at.
And Tory has some tea, Karen. Just like I would.
They're keeping Tory's father overnight for observation in the ER for a cat bite. So strange, but okay.
Next, we see the leprechaun in a toy motorized car.
I said the leprechaun's driving the Barbie dream car.
Well, I've read it kind of as a little S10 pickup, electronic, for kids or whatever.
Oh, it was a truck?
Go-kart thing. That's what I've read in my research for the other trucks in the movie.
Interesting.
But a cop pulls him over.
He's in a little toy truck. And again, he's going at warp speed because he's a leprechaun. The cop, of course,
is eating a go-kart. It could be a souped up go-kart.
I guess. But they usually are ones that have batteries in them. They don't go that fast.
Typically, toy cars are, like the ones we see today. But like I said, this one may be a gasoline-powered go-kart. You don't know.
Oh, I guess. But the cop's eating a donut on the side of the road.
As they do.
And the cop pulls him, and he pulls over, which I thought was funny too.
Yeah.
He does. The leprechaun does pull over.
Like he knows what to do.
Yes.
Whatever. And the cop thinks it's a kid in a mask, but the leprechaun attacks him and takes his gun and throws it away.
The leprechaun does say because the cop says, "Aren't you a little young to be out here this late?" And the leprechaun says he's 600 years old. So we do find out he's 600 years old. He also digs his fingernails into the cop's face.
Yeah,
so there's
doesn't kill
blood
him.
there. But he throws his gun away, like you said. Yeah, then
Yes.
back to the diner.
And we cut back to the diner, and Tory says all she wanted was a watercress salad and an Evian water.
She's acting spoiled again.
Which is still a brand around today. I thought was interesting. Evian water. But they don't have that there. What she say?
No.
They have cheap booze and beer.
It's a diner. It's meatloaf, mashed potatoes, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Burgers. She doesn't eat meat, she says.
Well, that comes up later.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We appreciate you spending time with us. You know, you can help us grow our audience by following us on social media at Scary Spirits Podcast. Just look for us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And don't forget to tell all your friends to find us too. Now let's get back to the show.
Next, we see the cop running from the leprechaun. And they're in the woods. And the leprechaun surrounds the cop in the woods. He keeps popping up from behind trees all around the cop.
Like hide and seek, kind of. But he's jumping around from tree to tree.
Yes, but the police officer takes a seat at a base of a tree. And he thinks the leprechaun is gone. And he kind of, gets a little relief. But just then, the leprechaun falls out of the tree onto his shoulders and snaps his neck.
He gone, as
Yep.
you like to say.
Next, we see Tory and Nathan back at the diner. And
Tory's acting spoiled again.
Nathan says, you're a little thin. You need to eat some meatloaf. I would say a cheeseburger. I would say she needs a cheeseburger, but Nathan says meatloaf. And Tory says, you know what that is? That's dead cow. And who knows what else? And she says she doesn't eat meat or kill living things. So Nathan reaches under the table, Karen, and pulls her shoe off.
Her LA Gear
Yes.
white gym shoe.
And he tells her, this is a dead cow. You're wearing a dead cow.
Yep.
Next, we see the leprechaun, and he's searching the house for the pot of gold. He got back to the house before all the kids did.
Those were very popular shoes in the 90s, the LA Gear.
LA Gear. Did you have some
Yeah.
LA Gears back in the day, Karen?
I did not know, but they were quite popular.
She's wearing like high top LA Gears.
Yeah, that's what was popular.
So the leprechaun's searching the house, and he finds some Lucky Charms.
He's opening all the cupboards, throwing
Yes.
shit all over the place.
He tries the Lucky Charms, but he don't like them. He spits them out. But he does collect all of their shoes, Karen, and he shines them.
Polishes and cleans them. Yes.
All right, so Tory, Nathan, Ozzy, and Alex all come back to the house to find it ransacked. But Tory finds their shoes all shined on the kitchen table there. And some of them were saying it's a bear or whatever. But the bear ain't going to shine your damn shoes, Karen. So they didn't even mention that.
Not any bear that I know, but
So Tory leaves and said she is not coming back. But she turns around and comes right back because she says it's too dark outside.
there's a full moon.
What's too dark for her then, Karen? I don't know. And they clean up the house.
Yeah, they clean up the kitchen. That kitchen was mostly what was trashed.
And we hear a bicycle bell. But we learn it's just Ozzy. He found the bicycle bell. He's walking through the halls, ringing it.
Psych.
So then Ozzy and Alex discuss how to kill a leprechaun. It's apparently they're the only ones that think it's a leprechaun at this point. And they hear the bell again, but this time it isn't Ozzy. And Nathan goes out to the kitchen to check it out. He ends up going outside. And he trips over a barrel or a bucket and falls onto a bear trap. Then the leprechaun comes out and begins to hack on Nathan's leg with a hatchet. He wants
He's
to operate.
going to. He says, let's play surgeon. But luckily, Nathan has a big old flashlight that he uses.
He has one of those big old 4D cell battery flashlights.
And he keeps him away by hitting him
Yes.
with the flashlight.
The others hear Nathan yell and they come out and they fight with the leprechaun. Ozzy runs into the house and calls the police, but of course they don't believe him.
Because he says the leprechaun's attacking.
And they know who it is. They know it's Ozzy.
Nathan tells Alex to go get the shotgun, and the leprechaun chews on Nathan's leg, which is a little.
Alex comes back with the shotgun, and Nathan fires at the leprechaun and hits it. Tory opens the bear trap to let Nathan out, and then Nathan fires a bunch more shots into the bushes because it is a pump shotgun, Karen. It has lots of shells.
Yeah, how many shots can you fire with that?
I don't know. I have one, but I couldn't tell you how many shells it holds. John could. And they look through the bushes for the leprechaun, but he is not there. He has gone missing. So they carry Nathan into the house and begin to treat his wounds. And I wrote, Tory seems to know exactly what to do. It's like she's a fucking nurse or something.
The phone is dead too. You should note. Yeah. They try to call, but it's dead.
So they carry Nathan to the truck, but once again, it won't start, Karen. So Alex has to go back out and jiggle the distributor cap again.
So what does that mean? What's the distributor cap? And is it loose or what's the deal? Because he just barely touches anything and it starts.
Could be a loose wire or a bad connection. Do you really want to get into distributor caps, Karen?
No, I'm just wondering.
So I can get into it for you if you like.
So it could.
Most
be
cars
just
don't have
wire.
them today. They're all electronic ignitions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a little jiggle of a wire could make it work. Okay, that's all I want to know. Because it just seems silly to me that he just goes out there and jiggles the wires and they start.
So Alex opens the hood and the leprechaun jumps out. Alex runs back to the cab of the truck and they lock themselves in, roll up the windows.
Roll up the windows by hand.
Yes. Hand crank. Yeah. It's a 1972 Ford F100. Hell, my 1986 Mustang had roll up windows, Karen. So the leprechaun breaks through the windshield and he bites Ozzy on the ear. But Tory pops in the cigarette lighter, Karen.
Yes.
You know, boys and girls, where you plug in your phone and all your devices in your car, that used to be a cigarette lighter.
Well, that's it even in the older cars. Newer cars don't even have that. Do they?
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Well, yeah, they still have.
Because most of them have USB ports and stuff.
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, not to charge your phones and shit, though. They don't use USB ports. They still use the auxiliary, whatever they want to call it now. It's a cigarette lighter. That's what it originally was. So Tory pops in the cigarette lighter. Then you have to wait, of course, for it to warm up, Karen.
Yes, you do.
And it pops out when it's ready. And she grabs it and puts it right on the leprechaun's nose and burns him. I thought that was pretty funny. The cigarette lighter. Those were the days, Karen. Hell, my car doesn't even have an ashtray in it anymore.
No, they don't have ashtrays anymore. That's really dating yourself.
I know. It's still got places. If I had a old cigarette lighter thing, I could probably plug it into. I have multiple ports like that in my car. I could have probably like 5 cigarette lighters, but I got no ashtray.
I guess you can't smoke in the car then.
But anyway, Leprechaun runs to the barn and they hear him in there like welding and shit or something. I don't know what he's doing.
What's he doing?
But he comes out of the barn with a go-kart that has a pitchfork attached to the front of it. And he rams the truck, Karen, and it rolls over.
It rolls a couple times.
He rolls a 1972 big old Ford F100 pickup truck by hitting it with his little go-kart.
With a pitchfork.
With the pitchfork, yes. So once it rolls over and stops, the leprechaun opens the cab of the truck, but the kids are gone. Tory, Nathan, Ozzy, and Alex all run back to the house as the leprechaun chases them.
Yeah, Nathan's moving pretty well on that leg that's been bear trapped.
Well, you know, Nurse Tory knew exactly what to do to bandage it and stop the bleeding. But they reach the house and the leprechaun does, but they slam the door on his hand, severing his hand, Karen.
Yep, his hand hits the floor.
But then it gets up and it crawls up the wall and opens the door so it can get out and get back to the leprechaun. So next, Tory gets her huge 1990s flip phone out again and calls for help. Her battery dies midway through the call, but she gets enough out where the police know there's really something going on, right?
Yes.
So next we cut to the sheriff, and he's going to, call the cop in the area as he is smoking a cigar, Karen.
I do remember he was smoking a cigar.
So there's your smoking right there.
He's radioing the cop.
The sheriff tells the officer to get to the O'Grady farm for an emergency. And then we see that the leprechaun is in the police car impersonating the cop.
So this is the second time we see him using the
cop
voice.
he died, or the cop he killed earlier.
Right.
I think it's the same
car
cop.
is still there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's answering. He says he's only like 5 minutes away or something. So they think it's taken care of at the police station.
Right. So back in the house, Tory still does not believe it is a leprechaun.
She's nursing everyone back to health.
Yes, she is. Then Ozzy lets it slip about the gold he and Alex found. And Alex tells Tory where the gold is, in the well. Tory says she's going to give the gold back to the leprechaun because that's all he wants, and hopefully he will go away and leave them the fuck alone, right?
Good plan.
She goes out to do that, takes the pump shotgun with her. She pulls the gold up from the well. Now she's pulling it out of the bucket. The leprechaun appears, and Tory gives the gold to him. And the leprechaun gives Tory a kiss on the cheek, Karen.
He's happy he has his gold.
And she runs back into the house. Next, we see the leprechaun counting his gold. And there's only 99 coins, Karen. One is missing.
And he's pissed.
He's pissed. They still have his gold.
Because where's the last piece?
It's in Ozzy's stomach.
Yep. Ozzy swallowed it by mistake. And so now he only
Alex.
has 99 pieces. Yeah.
Yes. Next, we see Alex getting some ice for Ozzy's ear from the fridge at the direction of Tory. And the leprechaun jumps out of the fridge, Karen.
Well, his powers are getting stronger because he's got his gold back.
Okay.
But he was able to do that before, so I don't know.
Yes. And then he begins to pop out of different cabinets in the kitchen as Nathan tries to shoot it with the shotgun. Eventually, he pops out of the chimney and Nathan shoots him.
The leprechaun burns his hand on the stove and uses a spatula to get it off. It's stupid.
He does.
But
they think he is dead, but he jumps up and runs away. And next we see the leprechaun on a skateboard, and he keeps passing through this hallway, past this door, and
he's taunting him on a skateboard.
he's taunting him. Yeah, like a shooting gallery or something. Nathan shoots several times, but doesn't hit him. Next, they hear the leprechaun in the basement, and they think he leaves through a window or something. But he doesn't. He pops up through the floor in the kitchen again, and Nathan shoots it.
Again.
Next, the phone rings, Karen.
The
Tory.
dead phone from earlier.
Yes. Tory answers it, and it is a leprechaun, and he wants the rest of his gold. Tory, in a panic, pulls the phone off the wall. It's a touch-tone phone, Karen. It's not like a rotary dial one, but
No, it's more modern.
It is one of those landline phones hanging on the wall.
Yes.
She pulls it off the wall and throws it in the floor. It's laying there, off hook and everything, and it still rings. So Tory picks up the receiver and says hello. And it's the leprechaun again, and he says something about, "Do you need a hand?" And a tiny little hand comes through the receiver.
So silly.
Kind of like
But he
Nightmare on
wants
Elm
his gold.
Street. It was a tongue, though, Nightmare on Elm Street, but same
Yeah.
premise. So somehow they discuss, well, how do we kill a leprechaun? And I think Ozzy says, well, old man O'Grady would know.
Well, Ozzy also realizes what he wants, his last gold coin, and Ozzy
Yes.
knows where it is.
He
It's in his
does.
stomach.
Yep.
So he says old man O'Grady used to talk to him about fairies and leprechauns. But I'm thinking, well, what good is that? He's dead, but he's not.
Me
is
too. No. We learned that he had a stroke 10 years ago. He did not die. And they decide to go ask, he's like in a rest home nearby. They go to ask O'Grady if he knows how to kill a leprechaun. They get to the Jeep, Karen, and the leprechaun is there as they are trying to leave, but they're prepared.
Yes, they are.
They
They've
have a
learned
whole
something.
bunch of shoes. And they begin throwing them. out away from the Jeep, and the leprechaun can't help himself but run after the shoes and shine them all.
Yep.
So Tory jumps in the 1955 Jeep and drives away. The others keep the leprechaun shining their shoes. Next, we see the leprechaun behind the Jeep on roller skates. Like he materializes wherever he wants. So
That's what it looks like now.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know. What
I don't know why he needs to be on a trike or he can just
I don't either.
beam there.
He could be in the back seat right now if he wanted to. I'm pretty sure. Right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
But he crashes through a fence and whatever.
Yeah, well, she turns a corner. He keeps going straight, passes through a fence.
Yeah,
I think it's supposed to be comedy there.
Yeah,
but
he's holding on to the back of the Jeep on roller skates. You know, kind of like we did back in the day, Karen.
Did we?
I don't know. Did we?
The only time I remember anything like that was in Buffalo, New York, where it was snowing like crazy.
Oh, that would be fun.
And kids
sleds.
would grab on the back of the car on like snowboards or
ride car hoods.
And it was the scare. I said, what are they doing? What are they doing? They're just hitching a ride. I thought, and I was like, this is so dangerous.
I think it's called street surfing or something.
Might be.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that was the only time I'd ever seen it.
Next, we see Tory in her LA gear high tops, and they zoom in on them now. So that's how I know they're LA gear high tops.
There's a lot of shoe shots in this picture. Like when the cop was in the woods and the leprechaun was following him, you'd see his shoes, the leprechaun's shoes, his shoes, the leprechaun's shoes.
They weren't branded.
No, they weren't.
This is brand placement here.
It's true. This is big time because they are zooming in on it.
But she arrives at the rest home. She finds O'Grady's name in a file at the front desk as the watchman or whatever the hell it is sleeping. So Tory goes to O'Grady's room and we see him with his back turned in a wheelchair. Right, Karen?
Yeah, and she says I don't know if it's the best line, but she just says, it's out.
Yes.
When she walks in the room. And I thought that's pretty cool. She says, I believe, and it's out. Knowing that he would know exactly what that meant. Except...
Well, she asked him how to kill the leprechaun, but it turns out that the leprechaun is impersonating Mr. O'Grady, and he turns around and I think he says something like, I'll never tell you. And he chases Tory through the rest home in a wheelchair.
Yeah, the leprechaun's in a wheelchair, again, at warp speed, going very quickly, and she's running and he's following her.
But Tory reaches an elevator and she goes in and closes the door. And I think we hear the wheelchair crash into the door.
I believe we do.
But I don't believe there's any reason why the leprechaun just can't beam himself in there. But whatever.
Right.
But next, Mr. O'Grady falls through the top of the elevator. He's hanging there. And he tells Tory they have to find a 4-leaf clover and touch the leprechaun with it.
Freshly plucked.
And then they can kill him. And then he gone, Karen.
Mr. O'Grady.
Yes.
Yeah. Because he's pretty beaten up. Looks like the leprechaun got to him.
Yeah, that's death number 3 by my count. Body number 3. Next, we see Tory driving back to the house in the 1955 Jeep. And the leprechaun is chasing her in the wheelchair. Again, I don't know why he just can't beam into the Jeep. Whatever. Tory arrives at the house and begins searching through the clover for a 4-leaf clover using the Jeep's headlights.
Because Mr. O'Grady told her to go to the patch of clover near the well and look for a 4-leaf clover. So do you want to know how common 4-leaf clovers are?
Oh my God, absolutely. I'm guessing not very.
1 in what would you say?
I'll say 1 in 800.
Nope. Wait.
1 in 1,000.
There are approximately 10,000 3-leaf clovers for every lucky 4-leaf clover.
Okay, so 1 in 10,000.
There are no clover plants that naturally produce 4 leaves, which is why they're so rare. Do you know what the 4 leaves of the clover stand for?
I'm sure it's 4 words.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay, moving on.
What are those 4 words, Karen?
Faith, hope, love, and luck.
Okay.
And they say it's rumored that Ireland has more 4-leaf clovers than any other place, but that's not probably true.
That's a bunch of
And
blarney.
And they do say if you find a 4-leaf clover, look for more, because if a clover plant produces one 4-leaf clover, it's likely it will produce another. So if you find a patch that has, a 4-leaf clover, keep looking in that area.
You ever found the 4-leaf clover, Karen?
I have. Have you? We used to spend
I have
hours
too.
looking for them.
I have too.
That was one of our afternoon activities in the summer. We'd all just lay around looking for them.
I kept it for a long time. I sealed it in tape, kept it for a long time.
And they can be smaller or a different shade of green. And then there is one superstition that if you find one and give it to someone else, it's said that you will double your good luck.
That sounds like bullshit to me.
You're just going to keep yours and
We'll
go with
keep
your
mine.
regular old luck. I thought that was pretty interesting. 1 in 10,000. I would have thought it was a little more common than that, because I do remember finding them. Not often.
I only remember finding one. But as Tory is looking for the 4-leaf clover, the leprechaun grabs her hand and she runs away and he chases her. Tory sees the police car in the road with its lights on and she thinks, oh my God, thank God, a cop. But she runs over to it, jumps in and finds the dead cop in there.
Yeah, I guess he put him back in the car.
Yeah. Leprechaun comes after her and she grabs the cop's nightstick and puts it right through his eye.
Yeah, she had good aim there and some force.
Yes.
She squished it in there.
So she jumps in the back or something somehow. I don't know why she does, but the leprechaun jumps in and he takes one of the police officer's eyes and puts it in his eye socket.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was doing at first because he was just kind of
He replaces
scratching the cop's face. But then he pulled it out. I thought he was going to eat it, but then no, he stuck it in his head. So now he has 2 good eyes again.
Yeah, that would have bothered me. This really doesn't,
Yeah.
but that would have bothered me.
Yeah, that would have been extra gross.
But lo and behold, Nathan has arrived and he shoots the leprechaun with a shotgun.
Again.
And Tory tells them that they need to find a 4-leaf clover. So they all run back to the house and they're looking through the little clover patch there for a 4-leaf clover.
I mean, it's about a foot square. They just threw some clover in there. It's not a good patch. But
you would think they would be able to find a natural patch of clover to use
somewhere.
But no. Well, they would have to tell them, okay, here's the 4-leaf one. I'm going to put it right here.
Or they just have it in their hand and say, I found one.
That's true. You could do
it's
that.
Pathetic. It looks like they just ripped some clover out of the ground and threw it there.
It looks to me like salad microgreens or some shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because it has the roots and everything. It's ridiculous, but they're looking through it.
Yeah. But as they're looking, Alex goes to the barn with the bear trap and he thinks he can kill the leprechaun. And I wrote, making a trap ? I don't know what the hell he was doing.
Yes, he was gonna catch the leprechaun in the bear trap.
But the leprechaun is watching him from the hayloft, Karen. Next, just as they are about to give up, Tory finds a 4-leaf clover, Karen.
Yeah, because first Tory loses it. We're never gonna find one. This is ridiculous. And Ozzy says, you gotta believe. And right then she finds one.
Back at the barn, the leprechaun grabs Alex.
He's about to shove his head in the bear trap.
Yeah, he's screaming, and the others come. And Ozzy tells the leprechaun that he swallowed the last gold coin. And the leprechaun says something about, well, I want what's in your stomach then. And he chases after Ozzy.
Yeah, like he's going to rip his stomach out.
He might. Eventually, the leprechaun catches Ozzy, and he begins to slice his face with his belt buckle. I don't know how that's going to get his gold that's in his stomach, but he's slicing his face up.
Yeah, he's scratching his face.
Whatever.
Yeah,
He should be cutting into a stomach, I would think.
He's wasting time.
Yeah, wasting time and effort. That belt buckle is going to be dull by the time he gets to the stomach, Aaron. I'm telling you.
Why doesn't he just magically make it come out of his stomach?
Yeah. Why doesn't he? Yeah. Why doesn't he?
Doesn't he just explode his stomach?
Kind of like Alien, just make it pop out.
Right.
So next, Alex wraps the 4-leaf clover around chewing gum he has in his mouth for some reason. I don't understand. I guess maybe to make it stick, the clover to the...
Yeah, so it won't fall off en route.
Whatever. And he takes his slingshot, puts the gum with the 4-leaf clover wrapped around it in a slingshot and shoots the leprechaun right in the mouth. The leprechaun begins to melt and falls into the well, is what I said.
Yeah, there's green slime all over. And he's
Yeah, it's a
melting.
big special effect. All kinds of shit going on, right?
Lots of green lights.
So they think he's gone, but then the leprechaun crawls out of the well and says he wants his gold. Nathan grabs a can of gas and pours it down the well and throws a match in, making the well explode, Karen.
So would that happen? There's water in the well because you hear him kerplunk when he goes down the well.
Yes.
And if you just poured, what was that? 10? Do you think that's a 10-gallon? How many gallons of gas?
I would say five. Yeah.
5. If you lit a match down a well that had water in it, would the gas explode?
I mean, it depends. It's probably better if you let it sit for a while to let the fumes gather inside the well.
Right.
You know, but he just throws a match down there and it blows.
I mean, it blows. It's a big special effects explosion.
Yeah. But next, the cops arrive, Karen, and we hear the voice of the leprechaun. He says, "I will not rest until I have me gold. Curse this well that me soul shall dwell till I find me magic that breaks the spell." That's what the leprechaun says, Karen. The end.
That's the end.
Credits.
So where's the gold?
I guess it's in the well with the leprechaun, right? He's got it all but the one coin. Or do you think he hid it before he...
I don't know. I think he probably hid it.
Shit, I didn't even think about that, Karen. Where is the gold? I smell sequel.
They made like 8 of them. So before we go any further, there are a couple things about leprechauns that I looked up. Not a lot, but they are cobblers by trade, which are shoemakers. Sometimes they're also the bankers. They're also the bankers of the fairy world. That's why they have so much money. They're only male. There's only male leprechauns.
How does that happen, Karen?
Well, they say, Greg, that they are unwanted fairy children. That's why they're so grumpy and untrusting.
What are you trying to say, Karen? Just because I'm wearing a leprechaun shirt doesn't make me a leprechaun.
And they used to sometimes wear red. They didn't always wear green. So in older folklore, they wore red. I thought it was interesting that they were only male. I mean, you do only see them as male. It
is true. Smoking their pipes.
They could be unwanted fairy children. That's why they're all grumpy. That's a little interesting. They do say I read a little bit about that they are distrusting, but if you are kind to one, they'll be kind back to you. But don't steal the gold. They can give it to you if they want to, but if you take it, that's a whole shit show.
All right, Karen. Anything you were pleasantly surprised by in this film from 1993 you chose?
Yeah, I did choose it. Well, it is St. Patrick's Day week.
It is. Like tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day.
Pleasantly surprised. I think the leprechaun looked pretty good. The costume, and he looked creepy. His mouth was disgusting and his fingernails, and I would say I was pleasantly surprised by that. That's pretty much it.
That's it.
What about you?
I agree. I had good makeup. I agree with that. He was well done. Apparently it took 3 hours to apply that makeup, Karen, and 40 minutes to remove.
I mean, the acting wasn't any worse than any other teen slasher film. You know, I mean, it was fine. I didn't think from the reviews and things, the movie itself is ridiculous, but the acting wasn't any worse than any of the other slasher films we saw, you know.
Okay, yeah.
It was set up for sequels, and there were many.
Yes, there were. I know you enjoy that.
Must have been a moneymaker.
Yeah, it made over $2 million its first weekend.
But I mean, I think I saw there were 8 sequels
Yeah.
or 7 sequels. I don't,
Yeah. Not all of them with Warwick Davis, who played the
Oh, really?
Leprechaun. Yeah. There's at least one without him. I mean, I read the reviews and stuff, and I was kind of surprised about how bad they were. I thought it was fun.
I
I
mean,
didn't hate it.
it's what you expect it to be, right? I don't know why it was so criticized relative to
I don't
other
either.
movies we've seen.
It is a horror comedy, right? We should say that. It
Yes.
didn't start out that way, but that's how they ended up making it, as a horror comedy. It was fun.
I mean, Jennifer Aniston's beautiful. The guy who played Nathan was definitely hunky, very 90s handsome, the smart ass kid. I mean, it was all in there.
How would you think Jennifer Aniston was in this film? It was actually filmed in 91, but it wasn't released until 93, which I thought was interesting.
I don't know. Is she 22?
Yep, about 22, which is what she's supposed to be, I guess. So
I expected much worse.
I did too.
From the reviews. I didn't think it was that bad. I didn't think
I didn't read any reviews
deserved that
before I watched it. I only read them afterwards. So I had no. So you had never seen it before, right?
No.
I hadn't either. So I had really no preconceived. I thought it was going to be scarier than it was, or more horrific.
That's a little bit, I would say, of what I was disappointed in. There was no real suspense anywhere. In those other slasher films that we watched, the horror films, you didn't know what was around the corner, or you didn't know I don't know, they built suspense somehow. This one, he was just kind of there, and it didn't feel suspenseful. It was a little violent, had the gore, but definitely did not have suspense. And I wasn't really scared by it.
Had a little gore, not a lot, just a little blood here and there. That was it.
Well, his hand is sliced off. They pull an eyeball
There's
out.
no blood.
No, but
it's green goo. It's not blood.
Bear trap. I think part of it is the whole premise is if you steal the gold, you're going to die. But what are the odds that you're going to steal a leprechaun's gold? Like with Friday the 13th, you could maybe go to summer camp, or in which one is it where you dream? Everybody
Nightmare
dreams.
on Elm Street.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It just seemed like you're almost removed because you're not going to steal a leprechaun's gold, probably.
That's true. All right. Anything that you were disappointed in? Not enough gore, no bare breasts, anything like that, Karen?
Well, no, I said, there was no suspense. I wasn't afraid ever.
Yes.
And I think they could have, I haven't seen any of the sequels, obviously, but I think they could have done a little more background about the leprechaun in Ireland so that we would have known why the gold's so important. I don't know. It just seemed.
Is
random.
Tory reunited with her father at the end?
Yeah, he comes with the police.
Oh, he does? I didn't
Yeah.
see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else, Karen?
Where's the gold? Like, did the kids find it? Like, what happens to the gold? Although I don't think they'd want it.
He probably hid it, I'm sure, because he was off somewhere else counting it.
Yeah, but it's got to be somewhere.
He hid
And
it.
eventually Ozzy's going to poop out that coin. So are they going to sell it and get their money? And then, then he'll be after whoever bought it. Maybe that's the sequel. Whoever
Do you
bought
think
the
he'll
coin.
lose? Do you think he'll use a colander, Karen, to catch that coin?
I don't know. It's not going to be easy coming out, though. It's a 50-cent piece, at least.
All right, Karen. What kind of cocktail rating are we giving this film? I will tell you how many drinks it took me to get through it, literally.
How many?
1.5.
Oh, but it's not a 1.5-er.
I know, but I'm saying I thought it was fun. I was entertained, but yeah, it's not a 1.5. No, it's not. But that's
It's a
literally
3.
what it took.
I think it's a 3.
3 cocktails.
I bet most people would give it a 4, but I think it was fine.
I think it's a 3. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
wasn't mad. It went pretty quick. I remember you saying, at the beginning, it's next week, it's an hour and a half. That's the only thing bad about it. But
No, I agree. And I think for the genre, it was fine.
Yeah, I wasn't mad. Didn't seem to take a long time. There was plenty of action. It kept moving, and there weren't very many lulls. Right?
No, there was just ridiculousness with him and the roller skates and the
Well, it's still
wheelchair.
fun.
Yeah, it's silly.
Right. Anything we learned today? We learned about Jeeps and Ford trucks.
Yeah. And 4-leaf clovers.
4-leaf clovers. Leprechauns. I had no idea.
Do you know what
they were all
3-leaf
male.
clovers are called?
No.
Those are what that's a shamrock.
Shamrock.
Yeah, it's the 3-leaf clover. But yeah, we learned about the 4-leaf clovers and a little bit about leprechauns.
Was there a special name for the 4-leaf clover other than 4-leaf clover? Not a shamrock?
So. It's not a shamrock.
Doesn't have its own special name?
I don't think so.
Anything else we learned? No?
I don't think so, but.
Do you think all leprechauns have 100 gold coins?
I don't know. That's what I mean. I'd like some background. Do they have multiple pots or only one, and how do they get it? And, they say they make shoes, fantastic shoes, and that's why they make a lot of money. But like I said, they also are bankers in some lore, and that's where they get a lot of money. But as a banker, it wouldn't necessarily be their gold. So I need me a leprechaun and make me some fancy shoes.
Yes, as you would.
I would.
All right, 3 cocktails, right?
Yep.
All right, Karen, comments on the pot of gold cocktail.
I liked it. I think it's a refreshing spring summer drink.
It's not bad. Actually, I'm kind of surprised that I could even take one drink without gagging.
I was very surprised. I think the ginger beer and the elderflower cover up the cucumber. But you can still taste it, and I would make it with less mint. I'm not a mint person. So
did you actually count 8 leaves?
I did.
I did too. I might have 2 sprigs in here though.
I like to make it according to the recipe to know what I would change. So I would put maybe 2 sprigs of I like mint in my tea sometimes, but
I'm surprised I have drank it all.
It would be a drink you'd have on the veranda.
I do not like cucumbers.
Or went out on the deck on a hot day,
Oh, Lordy.
Yes, that's what. Yes.
Bring me a pot of gold.
Yes. When you rely on the kindness of strangers, this is what you drink, Or like a garden party, or I don't know, something very light. It's very light.
It would be good for a garden party just because it's very green and gardeny.
Yeah, that's what I would use it for.
There's muddled mint leaves in it and cucumber seeds. I didn't get any seeds though. I thought I might, but no.
No, if you strain it well.
Yeah, they say to use seedless cucumbers if you have them, right? Because their seeds are a lot smaller. I didn't either. All right, Karen. Next movie.
It's your choice.
Oh, it's my choice.
What do you got?
All right, Karen.
Yes, Greg.
Since we are in the month of March now, correct? Actually, the next episode will come out right after the first day of spring.
Oh.
I'm sure there's all kinds of pagan movies I could pick.
Well, you can go back and listen to Wicker Man.
Spring or whatever. Yeah. But Karen, do you know where the name for the month of March comes from?
Is it from Mars?
It is, Karen. You're so smart. You're wicked clever.
I am wicked clever.
So it's named for the Roman god of war, Karen.
Yes.
Mars. You know why?
I should know why. And probably when you tell me, I will. What is it?
Well, I don't know if this is true or not, but this was the time of year to resume military campaigns that had been interrupted by winter.
By winter, yeah. No, I didn't know that.
Okay. So because of all that, and because there is a planet also named after the Roman god of war, Mars, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I have chosen a film from 1953, Karen, called Invaders from Mars.
Wow, that's a stretch. Okay.
Is it?
No,
I'm
impressed. I like it. Anything that you can Linked to mythology, I'm all in, especially Roman or Greek.
I also have a drink for next week, Karen.
Mm-hmm. Is it a shooter?
I don't know. No, it's in a highball glass.
Okay, good.
But the drink is called Life on Mars.
Okay. What am I going to need?
You're going to need coconut rum,
Okay.
orange juice, lemonade,
Hmm.
that cool, refreshing drink, and blue curacao.
Curacao. Anytime they have coconut rum, they almost always have blue curacao. Do you ever notice that?
Sounds like a very springtime drink because we're in
Okay.
springtime now. So
All right.
that's what we'll need.
Impressive research.
Thank you, Karen.
Way to make me look bad. You have St. Patrick's Day. Ooh, I'll do Leprechaun. Well, it's the first day of spring, so I'm going to do.
Has
It's
nothing to do really
March,
with
so-
spring. It's more with the
Oh,
month
March.
of
And
March.
what's the month of March named after? Well,
Yeah, you know, Karen,
fancy
that's
pants,
how I roll.
smarty pants.
All right. Anyone you need to thank this episode, Karen?
I'm just going to thank all our listeners. We really do appreciate you. And if you listened all the way to the end of this one after our riveting pre-recording before we started the movie, I'm impressed. Thank you very much. I'm sure we lost 50% or more people with
You
our.
don't know that, Karen. I might edit all that shit out. You don't even know.
You might.
I need to once again thank the band Verse 13 for providing all the music on the Scary Spirits podcast.
They really do make the podcast better.
They do. Anything else, Karen?
Please drink responsibly.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening. Want to keep in touch? Check out our website, scaryspirits.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Scary Spirits Podcast. Find us on YouTube at Scary Spirits Podcast. If you have questions or comments, you can email us at info@scaryspirits.com. To help us grow the podcast, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We really do appreciate your support. And as always, please drink responsibly.